Jeff Townsend Media. It's a huge, incredible, tremendous platform. It's not stupid and it's not fake news. Lots of money. Believe me, it's the best.
That always cheers you up, doesn't it?
It does. It always makes me happy to hear.
My AI skills are getting dangerous. I converted like, I don't know, 10 old safety videos from work into Spanish. AI.
Well, that's
you
cool.
Saw, like you saw the video I posted.
Yeah.
That's how I started using it. So
nice.
I felt so cool, This is awesome.
I mean, honestly, that's a good idea.
Oh, it's expensive as hell. If it wasn't so expensive, then I would definitely do it with everything. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Why wouldn't you do it in every freaking language, right?
No kidding. Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, hopefully it gets cheaper as time goes on or something.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give it just a few minutes to let everybody pile in here. Hopefully Viv Games is with us, can tell us how we sound.
I sent him a message to let him know we were getting on.
Oh, he's here. He's commenting already.
Oh, I don't have the comments turned on. There we go.
Spooky time. How do we sound, Viv?
Sound good.
Sounds good. Can't beat that.
Yeah.
All right. Looking at all the audience numbers here. Get something loaded up on my phone. Make sure my files are here. Yep, cool. Get my story ready.
Actually, make sure I got the right one for myself pulled up too.
That might be good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we can get going here. Sounding good, he said. A good deal. We'll see who else files in, but we'll go ahead and get going. In the meantime here, adjust my headset. We'll go live. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. This is Jeff Townsend. Of course, Lucas is with me for yet another live stream of your scary stories. The live stream where we show your scary stories. Or I guess we show them, we read them, we everything them. Live on the live stream. What is it? We're down to once a month right now because of work so crazy for me. But it also helps build the anticipation throughout the month now, right?
Right.
I gotta share these stories.
It also gives us time to find really good ones and prepare.
Find or get sent, yeah. We need a good sent one. We really do.
Yeah.
So, man, last time we recorded, what did we do? We shared the police horror story. Was that the last one already?
Oh man, did we do?
I think it was the police. It was the guys. The cops follow up scary story.
Yeah. That was wild.
It was wild, but that was a long form story. Tonight we are back to the traditional form where we will take turns sharing stories throughout the night. Luke has 3. I have 2. I have a video one because I know it makes Luke happy when I have a video one.
It does.
So he enjoys that thoroughly. So I'm excited. Viv Games is with us, producer, and we have, I don't know, he's changed his name to something. You'll have to read it. What's his name?
La-di-da-da TV.
La-di-da-di-da TV. He's the honorary producer.
Yeah.
We just can't keep track of his usernames, so it gets a little confusing to me. Nevertheless, it's going to be an awesome evening of stories here for the next hour. I'm excited to share this time with you, man. Like I said, you have 3, I have 2.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. Why don't we just kick things off? You're going to go first, right?
Yes, I am.
Let me get the music going.
Sounds good.
Anticipation's killing the people. I can actually kind of hear the music for once. This is wild.
Nice. And I can hear you. Normally we have an audio issue.
Yeah, we'll give it just a second. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I don't trust it. I would not go that far.
Yeah, like that time your mic started crackling for no reason.
I still hate the fact that I have to bring my other computer in here and my studio computer does not work. It makes me so mad that I got to bring a laptop in here and do this. It is a pain in the ass every time. It takes a bunch of more time, all because whatever the input device on the mic just doesn't work right.
That's nuts.
It's just bad luck. So
Yeah.
I purchased the computer just for the studio, so it is very disappointing. All right, man, I'm going to mute up and let you get going through your... We're going to kick things off with the first scary story of the night. Luke's going to go.
I saw something as a kid, and I still can't explain it. I can't quite remember when this happened to me, but I was really young, maybe around 7 or 8 years old. I don't think about it often, but every few years the memory comes back, and to this day I have no explanation for what I saw. I was at home, and my mom told me to go outside to grab something. Our house was still under construction at the time, but it was already big, with an outside kitchen connecting to the main house by a small, open window. When I opened the door to go outside, I saw something. It was moving from the left side of the corridor, walking towards the outdoor bathroom. At first glance, it looked like some kind of stray animal. But something was off. It was too tall to be a dog, but too small to be a horse. It had the thin, malnourished body of a street dog with caramel-colored fur or skin. But I focused on what I seen. It wasn't some weird-looking dog who probably had entered the house. The head was my grandpa's. Exactly like my grandfather's head. Bald, with wrinkles, and even his glasses. But there was something weird with his eyes. They were white or grayish. I can't remember exactly, but I know they weren't normal eyes. I don't remember hearing any sounds. I don't remember if it made a noise or if it reacted to me. But as it walked forward, it turned its neck as if it hurt me. That's when I bolted inside the house. I ran to tell my mom, but I can't remember if she believed me or not, or just told me to pray. She's very religious, so I doubt she would have entertained the idea of anything supernatural. I never saw it again. It didn't haunt me, follow me, or appear in my dreams, but that memory is burned into my brain. It didn't feel like a dream or a child's imagination. It felt real. And the creepiest part, my grandpa is still alive to this day, although he is sick now. I live in the southern part of Africa. After looking into it, I think it might have been something similar to a duppy or another spirit from African folklore, but I don't know for sure.
Wow.
Creepy as hell, right?
The grandfather part got me. It was a red alert.
Yeah.
Red alert. Red alert.
Right? Like up until then, it's kind of like, okay, this is like, some sort of animal.
Yeah.
And then
What's
that
wrong with
part,
this dude.
yeah,
Some chupacabra. I thought it was going to go that way for sure. Chupacabra, something like that.
yeah. No, yeah. When that part happened, suddenly it becomes much more creepy and much more unsettling, just at the drop of a hat.
So what was it called? A flappy? What did you say?
A duppy. I looked at a duppy.
Yeah, same thing.
It's sort of just like a catch-all term for evil spirits and whatnot over there. But one of them is called like the old horse or something like that. So
I knew you were going to give us a historical lesson on this.
yeah, I had to look it up because it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, how couldn't you? It's a flappy. I mean, Duffy. Sorry.
Yeah. Actually, Duffy is another alternative way of saying it. That's more popular in the Caribbean, though. They call it Duffy there, Duppy in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have people joining us across various different platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Kick, Facebook. We've been banned from TikTok. We're just bad.
You know what?
What else? Even LinkedIn right now, and YouTube, of course. How could you forget YouTube?
Banned on TikTok sounds like a cool subtitle. Like, we're banned on TikTok.
Took away my stream key. I was so dangerous.
Yeah.
Let us know in the thoughts what you think. Let us know in the comments. I guess some of the applications we don't see the comments, but let us know what you think he saw. You got some comments coming in. They just dropped the grandfather head fact. Like, oh, by the way, Yeah, it was pretty nonchalant. Like, yeah, it's this dog, it's caramel colored skin, it had these dog legs, dog feet, dog neck, but had my grandpa's head
Yeah.
and his glass. He's wearing his glasses. What else did it say?
He had gray or white eyes, like just stark one color. Yeah,
How
terrifying.
close did he say this was?
Um, I'm trying to envision this. So, like, he went out this door to part of the house that's still under construction, and he could see out to like the outhouse that they have there. So,
Okay.
I'm thinking it had to be maybe like 15, 20 feet, but not much more than that because it was still like technically in part of his house
Yeah.
that was being built.
So hear me out here. Would you like talk to it like it was your grandpa?
No, I would run.
Grandpa, or like like try to hug it, or would you
No.
pick up a stick, as you would say?
If I had a stick, maybe. I would at
Is
least
it
say,
possible his grandfather just wanted to like revisit him as a dog?
well, his grandfather's still alive.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Am I the only one that missed that? Did he say that?
He did say at the very end, he said the creepiest thing was is his grandpa's still alive, but he's sick now in his older age.
I thought he died from being sick. Wow.
No,
Oh
yeah.
shit, he's alive.
Yeah, but
It's
apparently
like
not.
it's like a skinwalker that didn't transform all the way or something, you know?
That's what some people were wondering. But he said that, skinwalkers aren't really a thing there in
Yeah,
Africa.
they can't leave the Southwest, I forgot. They're restricted to the Southwest for some unknown reason. We don't know why, but
Yeah, especially like also Southwest and Utah.
yeah, it's just the Southwest and Utah. It's been known to go into some parts of Colorado maybe once. But anyway, yeah, not South Africa. It's in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So tell us more about these things, like what people talk about seeing them or
Like I said, they're kind of like a catch-all monster spirit. And they have like a bunch of different forms. They're usually kind of just like some sort of off-looking person. But like I said, there is a version that's called like the old horse, and it's like a broken down animal like looking thing. And so that kind of fits this specific description here. Except for the
Alright.
fact that it looked a lot like his grandpa, or at least enough that he immediately thought it was his grandpa's head.
Try to talk to him. You think it tried to talk to him?
I don't know. He said it didn't really make a noise, I think, before he ran off. I think he ran too quickly. But also, like I said, it's also in the Caribbean. And in the Caribbean, they're kind of like servants of like voodoo gods and stuff like that, or the Loa, as they're called.
What happens if you approach one of these things?
I haven't really read that much into it. I was just like skimming it, trying to find images and stuff like that. I couldn't find a good image because like they're all over the place.
Well, I'm pretty sure I could Photoshop one real quick of you as one on
Yeah.
my cat. My cat's
Yeah, there
body,
you go.
your head there.
that would get the point across. Yeah.
I'd like to say that I would like have to address the entity, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Surely think you were like dreaming or something weird was happening.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to do as a 7-year-old though.
Sure. Are these known as dangerous at all in any of your research? Or
They're supposed to be kind of like something you want to avoid. They're bad, ill omens and stuff like that,
so they can mess you up later?
Yeah.
Diarrhea, death, misery, all this.
Yeah. Kind of like the evil eye.
Kind of like the evil eye. Let's see here. Skinwalkers might be using the airlines if you believe some stories.
Actually, I think I may have heard one like that.
I mean, what would stop it from getting on? I mean, it could do anything else.
There was that woman who was yelling about that guy who said that was not a real person. Do you ever see that video?
Yeah, it was kind of recent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I don't remember all the details of it. There's been a lot of crazy airplane stuff lately too, but
Yeah, it's been.
someone said they might steal shit. Yeah, I don't know. You think it like you think the dog like pissed like a dog in front of him or something, like hiked its leg, or
I don't think he saw it for very long. From
that'd trip you out though, wouldn't it? If it just hiked its leg at you, stared
then
you down.
that would be like a power move.
Was this rural or city? I didn't catch that part.
It's somewhat rural from what I've gathered. The guy mentioned in other posts that were complete. I decided to like get a little bit of information about the guy, just see if he really was from South Africa or if he was blowing up smoke or whatever. He definitely mentioned several times about living in South Africa and kind of in rural areas and other posts.
All right, that's a good way to kick the night off. That's I don't think I've heard a story like that quite before, so that was kind of something new. I like it when we have something new introduced. You always bring like these mythical entities onto the show, and I just tell these stories of creepy people, and you just tell these stories of creepy creatures. So it kind of has a good blend with it. But this is like another thing we've introduced. So we've had the not deer. And of course, it's like a deer, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good at timing that out. Then we had Chupacabra come in there. We had Skinwalker. We had what's the shape shifters? That's what it's called, right?
We also had Wendigo. We've had a couple of them.
The Black Dog,
and
now the Duppy, or is it Duffy?
Duppy or Duffy
is into the mix now.
Yeah. I will say my next two stories are different than this because I found these to be very interesting stories, and they are not monsters. So that's my only monster story for the night.
I like it. It makes me, like we always talk about how people are so scary, but I don't have like anything to relate to. I've never seen a creature that had somebody's head on it, so it's hard for me to like. When I'm trying to picture, we can all picture like coming across the serial killer, like we've talked about, or something weird, but like a freaking dog with your grandpa's head on it. I mean,
yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Like, what's the point of these things?
I don't know. Apparently, just to scare the piss out of you.
It would sure get it done. Well, I guess I could start queuing up music for my story here.
Alrighty.
Let me find it. Let me know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think we're good.
Coming through. I'm not getting cut off or anything?
No.
All right. I'll go ahead and get it going here. This is called the apartment incident. Okay, so first off, this happened a few months ago. I had just moved into an apartment complex and in the apartment I only had a bed, TV, a rocking chair, and an Xbox One. I work in a town that is an hour away, and they didn't have anything available that I could move into. So the big city was the next closest place to it, and it was also within my price range. The first few weeks play out the same. I get up, shower, go to work for 10 hours, come home, eat, watch a little Netflix, go to sleep, repeat. On my days off, I travel back 3 hours away to where my house is to see my wife and kids. Now, we aren't divorced or separated. I had to relocate from the town we lived in to start a career in asset protection as an APM. Asset protection manager, and this is a temporary move until we can get a place where I work. One night, as I was going through my evening routine, someone knocks on my door. It's a woman, maybe 5'7", brown hair, skinny. She looks like she was methed out of her skull. Her eyes were barely even open. She asked to talk to someone named Jareth. I told her no one by that name lived here. She said, yeah, he definitely lived here. She said she was here last Thursday and he was there. She wanted to buy drugs from him, and this was the address that was given. I once again told her that no one named Jareth lived here and shut the door on her. She started banging on the door, crying how she needed her fix. I told her to fuck off. After a few moments, I heard someone yell at her to shut up or they were going to call the cops. The banging stopped. Never saw her again. I sat back down to continue watching the movie I had on. I started thinking about what the woman had said. She couldn't have been here last Thursday. I was off work last Thursday and Friday with my wife and children. I started to look around more closely. Nothing seemed to be out of place. I checked all the windows. Nothing was cracked or broken. There was no upper attic space nor crawl spaces where anybody could hide. Nothing. I felt a little bit more secure and went about my night as usual. My next few days off, I made sure everything was locked and nothing was out of place. I went to see my wife and kids as usual. Told her what had happened. She suggested I take a pellet gun. Now I know, what is a pellet gun going to do? Well, in her thinking, it looked like a real gun. In the dark, no one could really tell the difference. Same for at a distance. Plus, it had a CO2 cartridge in it and 10 pellets, so I took it. When I got back, I looked around. Nothing was out of place. Nothing was missing. I put my stuff up as usual and turned on my Xbox. This is where I noticed something was off. When it powers on, it takes you to the home screen. On this screen, you can see the last thing you were on, plus the previous things you have done. When I left it last, the Netflix app should have been the first one on there, but it wasn't. Instead, it was Battlefield 1. Then one before that was Mortal Kombat. Someone had been using my Xbox. I once again did a thorough search of the apartment, found absolutely nothing. It was a couple of days after that the guy across the hall from me approached me while I was getting out of my vehicle. He said that a lot of people were coming in and out of my apartment on certain nights and were making a lot of noise, and it keeps his daughter up. And if I could keep it down or stop whatever I was doing, it would be incredible. If I could stop whatever I was doing, it would really help his daughter sleep. I was confused. I might have shown this to him because my expression changed. He asked me if I was the one who was having people over at odd hours of the night. I told him no. I proceeded to tell him that the things that were happening to me. I told him I'm 200 miles away on my days off. We both came to the same conclusion that somebody was getting into my apartment when I wasn't there. I made the decision not to go see my family one week to see if the person using my apartment would show up. Of course, no one came that week or the week after. It dawned on me at work one day during a conversation about how shoplifters would try to see what vehicle you drove to know if you were okay. Well, let me read that. Vehicle you drove if you were there that time to know, whatever that means. I don't understand that. Whoever was using my apartment knew what I drove. With that in mind, I waited till my next days off to set the trap. On the said day, I parked my vehicle about 3 complexes down and I walked to my apartment. I unscrewed all my light bulbs and waited in the corner of the living room. I had let my neighbor know what I was going to do in case any trouble happened. I put my phone on its lowest brightness and had my camera ready, flash and all. I waited for 6 hours, which felt like forever. But it did happen. I heard the front door knob jiggle. I got up, phone in one hand, pellet gun in the other. The door opened and someone entered, shutting it behind them. Then I heard a click, then another. They were trying to turn the light switch on. I then saw a light from the doorway. They had their phone out and were making their way into the room I was in. As soon as they entered the doorway, I snapped the picture. The brightness of the flash caught him completely off guard. He was stunned, cursing at me, trying to make his way back to the front door. I yelled at him to get the fuck out of my apartment and never return. He had reached into his pocket, dropping something as he pulled out a small pocket knife. I immediately raised the pellet gun and cocked the hammer. That stopped him completely. He dropped the knife, opened the door, and ran out. My neighbor who had heard me yelling was waiting outside of his place when the man ran out. He saw me run out of my apartment, gun and all, and asked if I had shot him. I told him no, and it was actually just a pellet gun. But the man didn't know that. I went back to the door and retrieved the pocket knife and what he had dropped. He had also dropped a key to my apartment door. Don't know how he had it, but he did. I showed the picture to my neighbor. He thought he recognized him, but wasn't sure. I stayed up late that night, calling my wife and telling her what had happened. The next day, I went over to the complex office and told them what had happened. I brought up the fact that he had a key to my door and wanted to know how that was possible. They weren't sure. Then I showed them the picture of the man. They knew right away who had the key. Turns out the person was going into my apartment complex was a maintenance worker for them. He had been one of the ones renovating my apartment before I moved in. They are given keys and must have made a copy of one. Then for nights at a time, he would use it to do whatever. He would use the key whenever he wanted to do whatever he wanted. He would use the key to do whatever he wanted whenever he wanted. I must have put a hamper in his nightly business when I moved into the apartment. That is, until he figured out my routine. The man, of course, was fired from his job and prohibited from entering the grounds again. I was given 3 months free rent. I never pressed charges and just let it go. I have a real gun now just in case. My neighbor and I struck a friendship, and now we watch each other's places when we're out of town. Hopefully this never happens again to anyone else. And yes, I had the locks changed in case you were wondering. So creepy asshole that was using my apartment for God knows what, do not come back.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, you think you're all peaceful in your apartment,
That's nuts.
and you're not.
Yeah. Wow. I that took some real like guts to wait in that apartment for whoever's going to show up.
Yeah, because like you could have just changed the lock. You didn't really have to confront them.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't sure how they were getting in. Maybe he was thinking they might be picking it or something.
You could have changed the lock for I don't know, but nevertheless, that is crazy.
Yeah, that was something. I I was considering a maintenance worker when this was going
Yeah.
on. When I was
It's
thinking
obvious,
that,
right?
yeah, there would be the ones that would have the keys.
Sometimes on this show, we've learned that it's almost too obvious, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll end up being some crazy twist. It wasn't here, but still, though, like you know what he's talking about with the Xbox. You've been a long time Xbox
Yeah.
fan.
yeah. I mean, if I was to turn on any of my consoles and it wasn't the last thing I was on, I would be very afraid.
Games that you know you didn't play.
Yeah. Good Lord. That's crazy.
So the guy
Uh,
definitely need to look out for his car, though.
Yeah. And that makes sense. Like he knows that what he drives. And I'm guessing he must have been selling drugs out of there at some point. Because of that one
Lady that showed up.
Yeah.
That'd be your first indicator something really weird was going on, right? But you'd probably
Yeah.
blow it off like this lady's just crazy. Like you
Yeah.
wouldn't like think like this is actually happening. But it was.
So-
Jareth was the name that she was asking for, right?
Yeah, Jareth. That isn't that the guy from Labyrinth? Isn't that David Bowie's character's name? I don't know.
Oh no, I don't. That's such a random thing for you to think of.
I think it is. But anyway, it's just like I heard that. I was like, wow, he's got some sort of
Jareth, that is correct. Wow, you are Johnny on the spot with that one.
So he's got some sort of David Bowie guy breaking into his apartment.
Yeah, some David Bowie guy
selling drugs
selling meth.
and playing his Xbox.
What do you think about his choice of Battlefield and Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, I guess Mortal Kombat's fun. I like it.
Would you say he finished him?
Yeah, he did.
That's
He's
a-
like-
I love this story, dude.
Yeah.
When I found it, I was like, "This is freaking amazing. This is
It's really
this
good.
is something that would happen to me. Damn it, you know, like this is
Mhm.
something that could happen to anybody. This would happen to me."
It's really crazy. That I wasn't sure where this was going to go at first because I was like, is this going to be like I don't know. But then once he turned on the Xbox and the app, those games, I was like, holy crap, someone's been in there. This is
I mean,
nuts.
it was very obvious.
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch! What? It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin!
But it was still great.
Yeah, I loved it. That was a great story.
Living away from home wouldn't be fun either. Let alone you have people
No.
breaking into your damn apartment.
Yeah,
Doing God
definitely.
knows what, as he put it. Skeeting on the couch and playing his Xbox.
Oh God.
Can't get any worse than that, if you ask me.
No, that's pretty much the worst.
Let's go to the chat. The Goblin King, somebody said.
Yeah,
Viv like the oh, son of a bitch from JR there.
yeah.
Dude should have never played his Xbox. He never would have found out. I guess so. The Flash scared him so bad. He only got 3 months rent free. That's all. He probably people were guessing beforehand. He probably lived there before him.
Yeah,
They said this could have been a short film.
It could definitely be a movie of some sort, or like a horror anthology thing.
Then Lottie Dottie 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 TV said that his neighbor has his key to his apartment or something. I don't.
That would be. Wouldn't that have been a twist? His neighbor's complaining about like the noise, and he's the one secretly breaking it.
Okay, so like that crossed my mind. Let's be honest. I'm with you. Somebody that works on the place or the neighbor were definitely most likely going to be what it was.
Right.
But it went another direction with it, and it just went back to the simple thing, and it was still awesome because I can picture myself sitting in the dark of that apartment, waiting, and 6 hours is crazy. Had the light bulb unscrewed, sitting in the dark, had his phone, just probably entertaining himself quietly with his phone.
Yeah.
Then imagine the moment you hear that doorknob jiggling.
Yeah, because you know it's going down. There's no going back at that point.
So the guy, let's go back to the scary part. He was wielding a knife.
Yeah. And like, you know, the pellet gun definitely scared him. If he still came at him, he probably could have shot him a couple times with that, and it would have stunned him a bit because of the pain would have been shocking.
Felt good, yeah.
And he could have got out of there still. But yeah, that was still risky.
People use those blow dart guns. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
just right in the head. Anyway, that's an awesome story, man. Somebody said he better wash his sheets.
Yeah,
he better. The balls to do that with just a pellet gun was crazy. Yeah, I agree. I mean, because what if he had a gun?
Yeah, no kidding.
And you had a gun, he thought you had a gun, you'd be done.
Yep. That's
awesome story, man.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. So
really
we're going to go to your next one now. Is this a longer duration one, or what do we got going on with
tiny bit longer, a little bit longer than the last one. Yeah, but not much longer. It's just a little bit longer.
All right. I will get the music going as soon as I find it. There we go.
Okay. This next story is a well-known story. It's even recently got like a Netflix documentary about it. This is the Yuba County Five. The 5 men involved are Ted Weyer, Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, Jackie Hewitt, and Gary Mathias. They were known locally as the Boys. These 5 young men were members of the Gateway Project, an initiative designed for young men with mental illnesses and disabilities. They were aged between 24 and 32. 4 of the men suffered from mild intellectual disabilities, while Gary Mathias suffered from paranoid schizophrenia. All 5 men were renowned athletes and members of the Gateway Project's basketball team, the Gateway Gators. They were well liked throughout the entire town. Not anyone in the town of Yuba, in Yuba County, had anything bad with them, except for occasionally Gary Mathias would get in trouble. On February 25th, the Gators were due to play their first game in a week-long tournament sponsored by the Special Olympics, for which the winners would get a free week in Los Angeles. All of them were extremely excited about the idea of this. The 5 men had prepared the night before, some even laying out their uniforms and asking their parents to wake them up on time. They decided to drive that night to Chico to cheer on the UC Davis basketball team in a away game against Chico State. Madruga, the only member of the group besides Matthias who had a driver's license, drove the group 50 miles north to the Chico State campus in his turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego. The men wore light coats against the cool temperatures in the upper Sacramento Valley at night that time of year. After the Davis team won the game, the group got back into Madruga's car and drove a short distance from Chico State to Bears Market in downtown Chico. They bought snacks, sodas, and cartons of milk to drink. It was shortly before the store's 10 p.m. closing time. The clerk later remembered the men because she was annoyed that such a large group had come in and delayed her from beginning the process of closing the store for the night. None of the men were seen alive again after that point. At their homes, some of their parents waited up to make sure they returned. When morning came and they had not, the police were notified. On February 28th, Madruga's car was found some 70 miles in the wrong direction, parked on the side of a mountain road in the Plumas National Forest. The car was found in good working order, with the men nowhere to be found. A massive search of the area yielded no trace of the men due to heavy winter snows, with the remains of Sterling, Hewitt, and Madruga discovered the following spring. The apparent victims of hypothermia. Inexplicably, they hiked 11 miles up and into the mountains away from the road with nothing but their jeans and light jackets. Weir was discovered dead of starvation in a fully stocked Forest Service survival trailer nearly 20 miles north of where the car was found, where he and Matthias had apparently survived for some 13 weeks following their disappearance. Matthias, the last surviving member of the boys, would never be found. They knew that he was in the trailer as well because his shoes were left behind, while the shoes of Weir were taken. Weir was found wrapped in 8 bed sheets to keep him warm. He had tremendous frostbite on his feet, which caused him to go gangrenous. Inside the shelter was enough food that could have lasted them a whole year, but it was untouched, as was the propane heater that could have kept it warm. The survival cabin was also within earshot of where the search would have been, but for some reason they never replied. This case is one of the more bizarre in California history. It has become the highlight of the so-called missing 411 phenomenon, a series of unexplained disappearances in American national parks and wildlands. To this day, no one knows what compelled the men to drive dozens of miles in the clear wrong direction, only to abandon their car on a remote mountain path. Something compelled them to flee their working car and their street clothes, and to flee up a mountainside in rugged winter conditions. Though Hewitt was significantly impaired by his disability, Madruga and Matthias were Army veterans with survival training, yet most of the supplies in the trailer, as I stated, were untouched, and no one is sure why they didn't seek help when they were so close to the search party. As I said, to this day, no one knows what happened to Gary Matthias. There are some theories that because he ran out of antipsychotics, that it's possible that he held some of the boys captive. Others say he would never have done that, even without his meds, that he was too good of friends with them, that he would never have any issue keeping it together long enough to get home. This is one of those stories that is not as scary as some other things, but to think of their terrible night, the ones that died of hypothermia on the way to that cabin, and then the many nights that those two spent there alone. not fully aware of everything in their surroundings because of their various disabilities. The parents of the children mentioned that they believe that police and others didn't do as good a job of searching as they would if they were all fully mentally functioning. And that is partially evident in some of the press releases at the time using very outdated and not politically correct language to describe their mental capabilities. It's unknown if that did play a factor. People did go out and search for sure. They even brought up snow cats to clear snow out to try to find these people. We will never know the full circumstances, but it is one of the more tragic stories of people getting lost in the woods.
Well, definitely watch that Missing 411 show. So, and I was actually, as you got into the story there, it actually reminded me of that. People that go missing like that. Again, under strange circumstances, to say the least. There's a lot to unpack with what you just shared with us. So going back to the beginning of it, because when you start getting the details, you almost forget everything at the beginning.
Mhm.
Plus, I was multitasking.
Yeah.
So these people were like, describe them in the community.
So they were mostly mentally handicapped. They were
Right.
part of a sort of church group thing called Gateway Project. That was
Okay,
to
you kept
help.
talking about that. Okay.
Yeah, they helped them find their way, and they gave them some amount of employment, and they also had like their basketball team that they played in. They were very well liked by almost everyone in town. And if you watch some of the interviews with the family over the years, you could see just how much they miss these people because of how much they lit up their life. And these five men were between the age of 24 and 32 years old. They're kind of all spread throughout that age bracket. I think Matthias was 27 or 28. And he's the one that's no one found the body of. It is unclear, but there is one other theory that there was some people in Chico that were bullies that did not like these people or were harassing them for being mentally handicapped in ways. And one of the theories is that they chased them as they left that market, and they kind of corralled them up the mountain. But that would have been a 70-mile chase from that market.
11-mile hike, right? From
11-mile
the
hike,
mountain you its own.
Yeah, so driving their car 70 miles in the wrong direction, and then chasing them another so many miles up the mountain, forcing them away from their car. The cops were first thought maybe it's possible it broke down. The key was missing, and apparently Madruga was very protective of his car. He wouldn't let anyone touch it, and he would always put the key in his pocket and whatever. And so the cops thought maybe it broke down. So they hotwired the car, started up immediately, and it had a quarter tank of gas in it. So it wasn't out of gas; it was functioned. And they said a few other things that were strange about it. It's a very potholy road that they were on, but there was no evidence of the vehicle having bottomed out in any of the potholes. They said that there's only two ways that could have happened. One, it was a person driving exceptionally carefully and methodically, or it was someone who knew that area by the back of their hand. And the Madruga had never been in that area before. He had driven to Chico and back many times before for going to games and stuff. This was not the first time they had driven out there. So they knew the way. And so they said that likely he drove up this mountain very slowly, not under duress or anything, which makes the whole thing seem even stranger.
Yeah. How old are these guys?
Let me pull up their ages because they're kind of like all over, but they're between the ages of 24 and 32.
Okay.
Let's see here. Ooh, I have it somewhere. Also, this happened in 1978. I don't know if I ever said the year that it happened.
If you did, I didn't catch it, but
So let's see here. Gary Mathias was 25 years old. Jackie Hewitt was 24. Theodore Weir was 32. But by the time he died, he was 33 because of the 13 weeks he survived in that cabin. Jack Antone Madruga was 30, and Williams Sterling was 28.
still, yeah, they weren't kids. So Viv Games mentioned here. I wonder what happened with all the food around them, and of course, the missing shoes part wasn't.
So someone pointed out that it's possible that the shoes that were on Mathias were not big enough as his feet started to swell from frostbite, but the other guy's feet were bigger, so he may have put them on just to get them over his swollen feet.
Okay.
The food that was in that cabin was all dehydrated, preserved, canned, and like army style sea ration stuff. It was all stuff that was easily prepared and eaten in a survival context. They did find all the wrappers of all the food that they got at that market inside the car. They ate it on the way up there.
This is a really weird thing. It's definitely straight out of a investigation discovery documentary. You can't help but wonder. So, how extreme were the temperatures? Did they say that? Like,
it was snowing. I didn't catch the temperatures, but it was February and in the mountains, so it was probably pretty cold.
makes you wonder how long they were there.
They estimate that,
before they passed. Excuse me.
Yeah, they estimate that the two that were in that cabin survived 8 to 13 weeks.
That's what's weird, right? This wasn't just like a bad day or two.
Yeah.
They were there. Man, it makes you wonder how long it went before people were like worried where they were.
The very next morning. So all the parents started calling each other the next morning, so wondering, hey, did the boys come over there to spend the night and stuff like that? And once they found out they were nowhere, they contacted the police, and and then it progressed from there. It was actually a forest ranger who saw the car first. He saw it that next morning, but he didn't think anything of it because people would go on hiking and stuff a lot for a couple days.
Yeah, a lot of emojis showing up in the chat. People are shocked by this story.
I mean, it's pretty shocking. But anyway, he didn't catch the bulletin on the car until a couple days later. And when he did, he immediately contacted the police and he said, hey, this car's been here a couple days.
So you don't think the press coverage was particularly favorable because of the way that they were?
It definitely was not. They was very dismissive. And and these people were kind of written off as like, oh, they were, they're mentally handicapped. They got into trouble because they were handicapped. And everyone was pointing out is like they were, most of them were barely mentally handicapped. They were just like they said, they were just slow learners. In fact, one guy, Jack Madruga, was in the army before, and they just labeled him as mentally handicapped. And so, yeah, these people they were functional. They could handle themselves, and they worked jobs.
Talk to us about some of the maybe other theories that there were when you researched this, because a lot of times you get a lot of people just saying a lot of different things.
Yeah, so the two major ones were that either Matthias held them captive and
Right.
forced them to go. And the other one was
For that long too, right?
Yeah. And then the
Yeah.
other one was it was a bullies or somebody. Somebody also said there was apparently bad blood between Matthias and a group of people who were known to be killers in their hometown.
Ugh.
And like they knew that if you crossed them, you would just disappear. Now, those people, I believe, had airtight alibis for all this time.
I assume they're investigated.
Yeah. So a lot of people, say that they still think it was them. In fact, we'll point out that many years later, someone said they were in a bar and they said they saw Matthias in the bar, recognized him, and he bolted, and they couldn't catch him. Now, that's, hearsay. No one else has said that they ever saw him again. But it's possible he walked off that mountain, he survived, but it's also possible that he died somewhere and they just never found his body.
Yeah, I mean, too much time passes, you're not gonna, right? I mean,
Yeah, once the animals get to him, it gets harder and harder.
so, but if this was today, it would have been easier to find the various buildings to search for.
So that is one part that the parents were all pretty ticked about, because they knew where those trailers were. They knew those survivor trailers are out there, but they didn't ever go and check them. So that was something that a lot of parents they couldn't get. The parents couldn't get there themselves because of 6-foot drifts. And
Yeah.
they couldn't, but with the snowcats, they're hoping that the rangers would get up there and check those cabins, but they never did. Had they have during the height of the search, they would have found those two alive in there, and at least there would have been some clarity of what happened.
Yeah, for sure. What an interesting story, and just a real mystery around it.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just I'm gonna have to research this some more now myself, and
It's an interesting story. You should also check out various documentaries there are on it, because it's pretty well documented. It's a big story. It's considered to be one of the more tragic stories involving people going missing, because it's these 5 guys and no one knows what happened to them.
yeah, I'm gonna look more into it. It's unfortunate, but man, it's just so long ago. It's like one of those things that you'll, no matter how long it's been, you're always gonna wonder.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to articulate here. It may have been in the 70s, but it's gonna be like locally. I mean, obviously nationally too, but locally, it's gonna be like a big thing forever. They're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
Remember when those guys went?
Yeah, definitely.
What happened? It's just so weird to go being captive for that. They thought they lived for a couple months. That's
Yeah. They based that on how much the one guy's that was left behind, how much his beard had grown.
and they weren't locked in there or
No.
chained in there. Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, one was wrapped in bed sheets.
Yeah, they said that he had been wrapped in bed sheets, and they said that there was no way he could have done it himself, because the amount of pain he would have been in from the amount of frostbite he had, he wouldn't be able to move. And so Gary Matthias, his brother, said that he believes wholeheartedly that his brother was trying to take care of him as best he could, and that he wasn't meaning him harm there, and that he was trying to keep him alive.
That's crazy. All right, let's see here. Check messages. Got one of my kids reaching out to me.
Oh,
That was a very good story for the middle of the show, man. I'll give you that. It makes you think, as we move on to other stories. But yeah, I encourage everybody to look more into that one. Well, I can certainly pick it up here.
sounds good to me.
If you're listening on a platform like Instagram, you're going to run out of time here. You will have no more. It hits the 1 hour mark and Instagram cuts off for some reason. So jump on the YouTube channel, Jeff Townsend Media, give it a look up. And you don't want to miss what I'm about to start here. This is these are typically people's favorite. Like we're gonna show a video now. People love these. So the interactive part, you take us down on this terrible ass story, like you usually do, get us all worked up and sad and emotional. Then we're gonna pop into a video now. So
Sounds
all right,
good.
this video here, I don't know a whole lot about the person that took the video. I'm not going to lie to you, nor was there a lot of information provided. This was on Instagram. Seemingly a man and a woman, I assume husband and wife or something, are taking a walk down the street and they start seeing some weird activity at a house. And they start looking at this house and they start filming it. This is where it picks up.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah,
Top window.
yeah.
Bottom window. Bottom window.
I can only see it on the
What the hell does its face look like? Oh, man, it disappeared. Bottom window.
I can only see it on the
What the hell does its face look like? Oh, man, it disappeared. Top window. Right.
Oh my god.
What the hell is it? Can I zoom in on this?
Oh, gone.
Bottom window. What the hell is going on?
You're just going through the floor or something.
So obviously at one point in the video, just to avoid any confusion, it does replay a part of it. That's what I picked up on it too as well.
But it's
Let's go back to the
inside
part
now.
that kind of confused me at first. Hold on.
Bottom window. Bottom window.
I can only see it on the
What the hell does its face look like? Oh, man, it disappeared. Bottom window.
I can only see it on
What the hell does its face look like? Oh,
Yeah,
man,
okay.
it disappeared. Top window.
This is-
Right.
Okay, so what I've tried to do here is make it easier to see, but let me do this. I've got actually even better video. Let's do this. I actually broke it down in another video so we could actually break it down and look at it a little bit better. So oh, that's slow motion. Okay, so I've started off from the beginning in slow motion here. Let's take a look at it here. You can see it slowly come into there, rises up. It's almost like an individual standing up.
Yeah.
You ask me. And it stands perfectly still before going back down. Okay, so then seconds later, it reappears downstairs. And this is also the slow motion, but it happened really quick. To the point where I don't think the transition between the up and down could not have happened that fast. So
No.
this is where it really gets weird. So he's going down here, and look how it just goes down and over. So let me go back to that again. So this is what tripped me out. It goes down, pausing it here. Whatever this figure is going down. Then it shifts back over to the right over there on our screen. This is the distant view. But
yeah.
it's almost like it just like vanishes back to a single point of whatever it was. But the weird part is, as this is happening, this is still in the frame right now. Look up at the top window over here on the left. It's already, there's already something there. Is that a hand?
Yeah, it is.
And has the thing disappeared completely yet or not?
It's still looks like it's still partially there.
Well, let's let it play out in slow motion.
Yep.
Oh, it would have just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have just went there. This is zoomed in there. This is all my editing, by the way, to try to get a better view of it. At first, I thought maybe it was a hand, but then I couldn't tell because then it does this in a second. Oh, it almost moved. You see that?
Yeah.
Did it look different there or what? The camera's
like-
also crappy.
Yeah.
So what are you seeing here?
It looks like something is like waving.
Or is it a head? Let's let it play out.
Because there it looks like it draws back.
Yeah.
And it looks like a shoulder here.
So what's actually sticking up there? Is that somebody's hand just literally sticking up?
I think it is.
But are they standing with their back to the whatever it is? Or are they standing like?
I can't tell.
Then within seconds, of course, it's downstairs into the frame right there.
Oh, wow. I didn't even catch
Any
that.
cuts in the video are from me editing it at this point.
That's nuts looking.
I agree with Viv. It almost melts.
Yeah,
That
it does.
first part here. If we go back to this first part here, it's like it melts when it goes downstairs, right? So watch it come up here. You see the shoulders there.
Mhm.
It's like the shoulders there. Kind of almost like it stands up out of a chair or something.
Yeah. Wow. What the hell? And then like
But
it just kinda,
but the way it goes down is incredible. It's like it just goes straight down, like just straight down.
yeah, not like someone crouching down.
Yeah,
It's like it's falling down.
like it's going through the floor.
And then it kind of like shrinks and just
Yeah. Then look here. Oh, that gives me cold chills. That is terrifying. Then it like melts away. That's what confuses me. That vanishing right there. Like, how does it do that?
I can't even begin to fathom. That is really
It
weird.
melts down, then like, I got to see it again. Then, as it's happening here in this is the real-time slow motion. It's already up there.
Yeah.
Is that moving there or not? Let's keep an eye on the bot. Keep an eye on the bottom this time. I don't know. It gets thin near the head. The
Yeah.
game's is saying. When it went down here, he's saying that. Where's that at? There. Yeah.
Huh.
So is that a shadow of something else behind it? Was that shadow there in the beginning? I'll try to look at the bottom to see what's at the bottom.
All right.
I zoomed in.
Yeah. So
I'm the one moving. I'm the one moving the camera at this point because zooming in and out. It expands before it goes up.
yeah. That's really weird. That's really, really weird looking.
If you're walking down the street and you see this, what do you think?
I would just keep on trucking.
First of all, to me, it is a little bit odd that you just stand there and stare. But I guess if
must-
you saw something creepy like that, it might stop you in your steps. Stop you in your place.
They must have seen it a couple times before they started recording.
Yeah,
And then,
I picked up on that as well. They definitely, whatever it was, it prompted them to start recording. They weren't just out of record. They just weren't recording beforehand.
Yeah. Wow.
Terrifying, isn't it?
It really is. Slow motion Englishman also is terrifying.
Yeah.
Wow. So that shadow is there before it comes up, the one in the background.
Yeah, whatever's behind it.
So you see that later. So I was trying to think, is that something still there or what? So that's what that is.
Let's
Wow,
go
that's-
back to the original clip here.
Yep.
See what we can see from a distance.
Something like that.
Okay, so the shadow's there.
Yeah.
Whatever it is down there.
But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
So real time. Go ahead.
He says it's inside now.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah.
What did he say? Tapping on the. What did he say?
I think it's jumping around the windows.
Is that what he heard?
That's what I heard, but
In real time, though, this thing appears very quickly.
yeah.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah.
Top window.
Yeah.
There's also a shadow in the middle bottom window.
Yes,
Let's go
towards
back.
the end.
That's why we have a lot of people watching it. You're
I guess
saying on
for-
the doorway with the light? Is that what the person's saying?
Yeah.
The doorway with the bright light is you're saying, or I would say doorway. I can't tell if it's a door or a window. It's a window one way or another, but
Yeah. I think it's
That's what they're
towards the
saying,
end.
chat. okay. Let's watch the door with the bright light coming out of it.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah.
Top window.
Yeah.
Bottom window. Bottom window.
Near the end of the video.
You see it on the phone.
Oh, when it goes to the.
How does it can zoom in on this?
Oh, gone.
Talking right here.
There.
Bottom window.
It gets pretty quick from place to place, don't it?
Yeah.
Bottom window. What the hell is going on?
Then where does it go here?
Just going through the floor or something.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out.
Going
So it's-
through the floor or something.
Go ahead.
So it sounds like he says saw something over here, but it's inside now. So it feels like they saw something outside the house to start with.
They come across something outside, then. Oh boy.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Oh, yeah.
Top window.
Yeah.
Yeah, the transition from top to bottom is absurd here. There
Yeah.
can't be stairs on both sides here. So at two different points in the video, it transitioned from the top window to the bottom window very quickly. This particular one is crazy because there can't. I guess what I'm saying is it can't get from both sides to the top to bottom that fast. There's not two sets of stairs. I wouldn't think. So how the hell is
No.
it doing that?
Bottom window.
And why does it come out from the ground? It doesn't come
Yeah.
around the corner of a door.
Okay.
Let's go back to the slow-mo. Because I'm pretty sure it just almost as if it's like melting backwards is how it appears, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw something like that. But it's inside now.
I'm not playing the right one. Here we go. I had both playing at the same time somehow.
Huh.
Okay. What in the heck? Look at just rises up.
Yeah.
Does it look like it could have been on its knee? Then it.
Not really. It seems like it's just like coming up.
But how it goes is the weird part, right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Whoa. Well, hold on. That's the first time. He kept saying, look at the face. I never was actually able to see it. I'm not seeing much of the face, but there's... At some point, it just hit me all of a sudden. I don't know why. It gave me cold chills, literally. Just try to look at the face as you go through this part here.
Yeah.
There is almost like a point in time there where you can see it turns its head. It might be looking over to the side. Then it turns its head.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it disappears after that. That's really weird.
He kept saying the face, the face. See,
Imagine in person, you could see it easier than, and he said he probably saw it much clearer.
That's the clearest picture we got of it right there.
Yeah.
Tell me what you see here. Besides the silhouette. I mean, do you see, are you picking up anything else?
Not really. It just looks really featureless. Like it's like blank faced.
What about the shape of the head here? Is it like it has a hood on? What are you thinking there?
Almost looks like a woman. Like her hair is down.
Yep. That's what I was thinking.
It almost looks like a dress.
Yeah. Or a denim jacket, as Viv Games would be one wearing. What a creepy video, man. I'll just leave it there for a minute as we discuss it here. Could be fake, right?
It is possible. I don't understand it if it is. Like, I don't know why someone would do this. Like, so this is English, a British person speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
England doesn't celebrate Halloween like we do. So like, I was thinking of like there are some Halloween projector things for Windows, right? That you can get where you can project, but they're wildly expensive. And also they're not really a thing. It's not really a thing to do in England. So for someone to do 4 windows with it would be crazy because it would be like, $20,000, something like that. So
it'd be a lot of work.
And also you could see inside their house right now. You can't see inside their house if they had one of those projectors on. You would see like a fake house, but this looks like a normal person's house through the window. So yeah, that doesn't. So to me, immediately I can rule that out. It just doesn't look like it. There's probably other ways of faking it. Maybe there's like four weirdos in there waiting for someone to walk down the road, and they're really good at dropping up and down. But then you got to ask yourself why.
Because they also thought they were outside at first or something. He said they're on the inside now, like you brought up.
Yeah. So why would someone do this? That doesn't make any sense either. Because, like I said, they don't celebrate Halloween. So, like, the only thing I could think of is if this was a Halloween prank here in the United States, I could see someone putting in the effort to screw with people. But it doesn't make sense for England. And everything about it is so choreographed and weird. It's so strange. I can't really tell you what's going on here, but it is spooky. Very spooky.
What's your thought, Viv Games? Curious what Viv Games says. He's been quiet here.
He said something earlier about his battery giving him a warning. Hopefully he still has power.
Wow, this entity may have impacted his phone.
Yeah.
This is creepy, man. This still shot right here.
Yeah, very creepy. That's really crazy.
It's not like it walks in the room either, At the top part, it kind of does go around the corner. But here, it's just coming from the floor.
Yeah, that's really nice.
I assume what's behind it is a door frame.
Looks like it, yeah. It looks like a door frame on the right part of that windows. There's And the way it disappears, this particular one is very strange because it's almost like it shrinks down and then turns into like a ball and sucks away. You know?
Yeah.
Tap it on the window.
So I'm just looking at the house right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's rooms to the right.
Yeah.
There's rooms to the left, apparently. It's like an apartment complex, maybe, you know?
It might be. Like a
There's
row
a light on in
house.
the room up on the There's a light on in the room up there to the right. It doesn't look like it to you?
Yeah. Although that could be like a separate living quarters. That could be like
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where they came from. If they walk wherever they came from the way I'm looking at it, down there on the right hand side of the screen, up on the bottom. I'm talking on the
Yeah.
bottom. Came
Yeah.
from the floor level on the right hand side up. So what is there to do that? Where are you coming from? Is that a door frame we see? We see a shadow. Then to the right of the shadow, you see a mark there.
Yeah.
Is that a door frame?
That looks like a door frame to me. It looks like maybe into an inner room, further back. But it doesn't come from that way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It's something else.
Heck of a video.
That was a really good one. That was probably one of the better videos we've had. Because I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, we're to that point now where you're going to take us home with the last story of the night.
Yeah.
Let's get the music going.
Pull this up. Okay, here we go.
Not working yet.
Am I coming through yet?
I think you're coming through now. Yes. Yep. I'm going to mute up.
Alrighty. We're going to end this one with a very odd one. This is from about nine and a half years ago when the story first started making the rounds. And unlike a lot of our stories, this doesn't come from some creepy place. This was posted on Reddit Legal Advice. On the 15th of April, I found a yellow post-it note in handwriting that wasn't mine on my desk, reminding me of some errands I had to do, but told literally nobody about. While odd, I chalked it up something I did in my sleep, thinking maybe in my half-awake state, I scrawled it so it didn't appear to be my handwriting. I threw it out and thought little of it. On the 19th, I found another post-it note on the back of my desk chair, in the same handwriting as the previous one, telling me to make sure I saved my documents. I was freaked out, but there were no other signs of a break-in, so I set up a webcam in the house aimed at my desk and used a security cam app for it to record detecting movement. On the 28th, I woke up to find another post-it note, this one saying, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." I immediately checked the webcam's folder on my computer and found nothing from the night before, but my computer's recycling bin had been emptied, which I am certain I did not do recently, indicating that someone had noticed the webcam and deleted the files. They were just saved straight to the folder on my desktop called webcam. Today, on the 1st of May, I found another post-it note, this time on the outside of my door with nothing written on it. There also appeared to be post-its of many other doors in my apartment complex, all blank in varying colors. Do I have legal recourse here? I have no proof except for the post-its, but those are written by my pen and on my post-it notes, so conceivably, I could have faked them. Would contacting the police get me into any trouble? And if they can't determine an outside source for this, I just want to make sure I'm not wasting anyone's time. Should I consult my landlord? Those also living in the complex? He edited it and said, I pulled up a letter I received from my landlord back when I moved in, and the handwriting is identical. Could this count as evidence? Now, on this thread, there was a top comment. You seem sincere, and this doesn't appear to be a plot of a Ray Bradbury short story. It's possible that your landlord is leaving post-it notes inside your apartment, but they don't make any sense in the context that you're describing them. It's likely that you were writing notes yourself, but you are forgetting. Do you use post-its as reminders in other parts of your life or job? Yes, this might be a mental health issue. You might be experiencing some sort of dissociative disorder, or it might be a physical problem. You mentioned that you have a very unusual narrow bedroom with no windows. He mentioned this in a comment on the original post. Is there a chance you're not getting enough ventilation when you sleep, or there's a carbon monoxide leak in the building? A cheap CO2 detector, or CO detector, which you should have anyway, is a fast way to find out. You also have really bad headaches. You know your own medical and mental history and your other experiences. If you think these instances might be writing notes to yourself, there's no shame in getting somebody qualified to give you an opinion. The poster replied, I have had really bad headaches, and I actually do have a CO detector. Guess I should probably take that out of its box and plug it in. Then he updated it again. Thanks to everyone who sent suggestions and gave advice on how to proceed, especially to those who recommended a CO detector, because when I plugged it in the bedroom, it read at 100 parts per million. I have carbon monoxide poisoning, and I thought my landlord was stalking me because of it. There was a update he did 10 months later. It's been almost a year now. Well, 4 months ago, things were rough, and I definitely made significant improvement, and currently there's little reason to doubt a full recovery within a year or so. Turns out brains can heal. While brain cells cannot regenerate, the bulk of my issue seems to be cerebral edema, brain swelling caused by the poisoning. While the inflamed tissue can suffocate and destroy brain cells, it doesn't always, and sometimes the damage is temporary. Long story short, while my comment several months ago was depressed and hopeless, I'm much better in both mood and physical health, though in this situation, those aren't exactly separate categories. I'd say I'm about 80% back to normal, and there is a chance that I won't completely recover. I do believe that I'll be about 90% better in the next 6 months, so I'm happy. I will also say I no longer use post-it notes. I now use a notebook.
Wow.
So this is a scary, real thing that can happen to anyone. This guy, carbon monoxide poisoning, he wasn't remembering that he was writing these notes to himself.
It almost happened to you once.
Yeah.
Well, not the note part, but the carbon monoxide part, yeah.
Yeah, we almost all died.
This is a very real thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Think of like what happened in your occurrence, right? Like you all almost died that night.
Yeah.
You don't think this had been happening, right?
Yeah. So that's a thing that, I was thinking about when I read this. I was like, you know what? Everyone needs to get a carbon monoxide detector. That's end of the day. Everyone needs to have
Agreed.
one. But this guy, he posted this, and then I found out about this story because I was looking at a different one. A guy was saying that he felt like his apartment was changing.
Yeah.
And someone said, hang on, do you have a carbon monoxide alarm? Because this sounds like something that happened 9 years ago. So like, what the heck is going on here? What's this, carbon monoxide alarm stuff? Anyway, so yeah, this guy, both, and then that guy also confirmed that it was carbon monoxide poisoning. So more than one occasion, carbon monoxide poisoning causing like a psychological like break, and people not knowing when stuff is being moved or notes being written, stuff like that. And then, they come back to it and see these things and don't know what's going on. Very scary to me. Like, because like,
oh,
this
hell yeah.
It also kind of explains a lot of like what some people might see or something like that, you know, in their own.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
You wouldn't think you had a problem though. You'd just die if you thought you had a problem. You'd be dead already, right?
yeah, definitely. It's something
It's
else.
a
Isn't
wild
it?
story, man.
And I liked it because, like I said, I wasn't cruising like uh looking for scary stories when I found this. This was the one I saw in a like a post about apartment buildings and like stuff like that. And some guy said I felt like my apartment building is changing on me. And then
It's
this one
kind of
was
the ultimate scary story, though.
yeah, and like I said, this one was in legal advice. The guy was wondering if he could sue his landlord for breaking in, and you wouldn't even like a million years would you make the leap that it's carbon monoxide poisoning. Whoever
No.
the guy who said that he thought it was carbon monoxide poisoning must be like a genius, or maybe
Yeah, I was about to say, did you look into this person?
I didn't, unfortunately, but so yeah, like this guy, either he's seen it before firsthand or something, but yeah, wild story.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a little different than like the other two stories. It's not a monster story. It's not a super sad story because the guy, you know, got better, which is good. But it's, you know, it's a story. It's a good cautionary story.
It's crazy. It's a good cautionary story. Right? Everybody should go buy one right now if you don't have one. Wow. That made me sleepy. It was so scary. Made me afraid to go to sleep tonight. That was a good one. That was a good one, though. Wow. It makes you afraid a little bit, you know,
A little bit, yeah.
because you had to feel like because you had something like this happen, you had to feel like some connection to it.
Definitely. I tell people every year just before, you know, they start firing their furnaces up and stuff like that for the winter, get a carbon monoxide alarm. It's like $15. There's no reason not to have it.
It's insane. With that being said, we've been all around the block. Let's watch a video, short clip of something, come back and discuss these stories this evening.
Sounds good. That was amazing. Couple
Yeah.
of beers. Oh hell.
Did you like when I said museum?
The museum, yeah. Museum is a fair.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He just what did he say? What are you guys talking about? How stupid you are?
Yeah.
Just deep pants the guy.
Oh man.
You hadn't seen that before?
No, I haven't. I like Shane Gillis a lot.
I was about
but
to
I
say
haven't
Shane Gillis is incredible.
He's hilarious. But I haven't
His
seen
Trump
that,
stuff is
though.
incredible, but that was a whole other level there, man.
Have you
Couple
seen
of beers.
Have you seen his show Tires on Netflix?
Is it like a stand-up special?
No, it's like a series he did where he works
Uh-uh.
at a tire shop.
I've
It's
only seen
pretty
his
good.
stand-up specials.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
he's
good.
awesome.
I love
Back
that.
to the point of the whole episode here, the stories tonight.
Yeah. It's hard to pick one in this one. This was I felt like a really good episode. I really like that video. Obviously,
It's
that
awesome.
was, but I think the apartment building, the guy, someone breaking into his apartment building, that one is my favorite one, I think.
Oh, it's a hard one to pick one tonight, I tell you. Not the fucked up one about the dudes going missing. That's just depressing.
It's sad.
It's a good documentary style story to share, though. Yeah, the apartment. I mean, it's wild, and the carbon monoxide one's wild to me too. And the video is always well placed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard to
And what
pick.
sound is the music still playing?
No, we got
Oh, man.
wind. We got wind like crazy.
Dear God.
Yeah, we
Wow.
still got a tornado watch in the area.
Anyway, awesome stories tonight, man. It was good to get back into it. It was fun. We never even put up the banner tonight talking about all our episodes, did we?
Oh, son of a gun.
We're so into it, we didn't even need it. So we'll go across the bottom here, and we'll see when the next stream is, and we'll prompt you to it. This is a good one though, dude. It was well timed. All the stories, I felt like.
Definitely, yeah.
I can't even say a favorite one tonight because they all hit home in some way, you know.
Yeah, they were all really good.
Yeah.
Even the weird, not deer African monster.
Oh, that's a
thing.
good way to start. Yeah, that's just. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what the heck. That's just weird.
It really
Pretty
was
creepy. Let's see the next stream date. Oh, this is an old one even.
But it is going to
Right?
be in April, I think. Though
I never updated that.
looks like you updated the later parts, but
Huh. Wow.
it's definitely going to be in
I have it
April.
on my phone. I'll look it up just so we get the right date here for everybody watching. Another great night though, dude.
Definitely.
It felt good to get back to just sharing some kind of, I don't want to say random stories, I guess.
It was a variety. We had a nice variety.
It was a really solid variety.
It's funny because like I wasn't looking for anything themed, and I accidentally stumbled upon a great one for Christmas this next
Wow, you're way ahead of it. I like that.
Yeah,
April
well-
21st is the next stream date.
21st of April. Nice.
I have so much editing to do. I can't wait to see the thumbnails that Viv Games comes up with for this episode.
Yeah,
Just think about it. Just think about this thumbnails he's gonna have to make. He's gonna have to make one for the grandpa dog thing.
yeah, that one's
That'll
gonna
be crazy.
Yeah,
The guy in the apartment waiting, that's got to be crazy.
yeah.
I don't even know what he's gonna do with the guys that went missing. The shadow person, that'll be creepy. But the last one, what's he gonna do with that one?
I don't know. Put a picture of a carbon monoxide alarm on there.
Yeah, that'd be effective, right? I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Again, we do appreciate everybody watching, listening, however you consume the content. You have any closing words tonight, Luke?
Not too many. I'm glad that we were able to do it tonight, and we're a couple days past because of both of us had work stuff, and I'm happy to be back at it. Hope everyone had fun listening to the stories, and I just can't wait for the next one.
And we appreciate you guys being patient with us and hanging in there and still joining these streams because we are struggle with life and all everything going on as far as timing. And you guys are awesome just continuing to watch it. You can't say anything more, can you?
No, I mean that about says it. No, we're just appreciative that anyone even likes listening to us.
And it's awesome to see how our studios have formed throughout this
Yeah.
year and plus now at this point.
Yeah, I actually have plans on making something similar to what you got with some sound dampening. Because I got another room that I don't use much, and I think I'm just going to build out another PC in there and stuff.
That'd be cool for sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, guys, we're back April 21st. We appreciate you joining us for some more scary stories. If you have some stories that you want to share, that's something that's happened to you that's scary, submit it at yourscarystories.com. Again, we appreciate everything. And until next time, keep being you and keep being great.
Jeff Townsend Media. CG, good night.
And the question is, do I stay here? Will you be back? Are you gonna come back? Will you be back? Are you coming back?